Audi A5e Hybrid, 2025, review. Better late than never. A plug-in hybrid powertrain was always conspicuously absent from the A4. Something the Audi A5e Hybrid looks to fix. In case you missed it, the A5 Sportback and Avant replaced the A4 as the compact executive choice in Autoland. Its powertrain looks similar on paper to that found in the old Q5 and A6 TFSIe, albeit with a significant increase in battery capacity that gives the headline 67-mile EV range. That puts it into the 8% BIC tax bracket, which is exactly where the BMW 330e sits. Other rivals include the even longer-range Mercedes C-Class and more practical choices like the Volkswagen Passat and Škoda Superb. To see if the A5e Hybrid is any good, I flew out to Ingolstadt to drive a German-spec example. If you're wondering how we tested Car Magazine, have a look at our explainer page. At a glance. Pros. Refined hybrid system. Strong acceleration. Fun can be had. Cons. Pokey boot. Not as plush as the old A4 inside. So close to being in the 6% BIC bracket. What's new? We've already talked about Audi's premium platform combustion, PPC, in the regular ICE A5 review. So let's focus on the hybrid system here. It uses a 2.0-liter 4-cylinder petrol and a chunky electric motor that gets its power from a battery pack under the boot floor. All A5e hybrids get a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic gearbox with the e-motor integrated into it. That means quattro four-wheel drive even in all-electric mode. Although I do wonder if a two-wheel drive model might sneak into the 6% bracket. What are the specs? You can see why the A5e Hybrid is quattro only. Though, the 2.0-liter turbo lump produces 249 bhp on its own, with the electric motor chipping in another 140 bhp. Together they can produce a maximum of 295 bhp. With the 331 lb-ft of torque the system can generate available from idle. The new battery pack is only slightly bigger and 23 kilograms heavier than the one you'd find in the old A6 PHEV, yet has around 45% more capacity at 20.7 kilowatt-hours usable. Audi also uses a few kWh of the pack's total capacity of 25.9 kilowatt-hours not for EV running, but to make sure there's always 295 bhp. Even with a flat battery. An even punchier PHEV is available in Europe, but the UK is denied this. Still, the 295 bhp version we get with RHD still does 0 to 62 miles per hour in a believable 5.9 seconds and run on to an electronically limited 155 miles per hour. The maximum charging speed has been lifted from 7.4 kilowatts to 11 kilowatts. Although you'll need a 3-phase supply to enjoy 2.5-hour charge times. As I've come to expect, boot space tumbles when compared to the ICE A5. It looks fine at first with the floor sitting level with the loading lift. But in the ICE A5 you've got the option of lowering the floor by around 10 centimeters. That's how you end up with a boot capacity of just 361 liters for the Avant and 331 liters for the Saloon. How does it drive? The following impressions come with a caveat. I've only driven A5s with adaptive dampers that are currently unavailable in the UK. As tested, the A5 Avant and Sportback feel a tiny bit floaty in comfort mode. So I found myself in balanced and dynamic modes the most. If the standard fixed dampers are around the balance point of the adaptive setup, it should work pretty well in the UK. There is a BMW-like tightness to the body control that'll do the job nicely on undulating A and B roads. Although I suspect you'll want to avoid potholes if you've opted for the biggest 20-inch wheels. Like the dampers, the steering feels a little loose in comfort mode, with not enough resistance just off-center for high-speed autobahn work, but a less relaxed drive mode adds the weight I desire. The rack isn't totally mute as Audi bashers might have you believe, but any feel and feedback is heavily filtered. Fun can be had, though. Grip levels are high and body roll minimal, so it's possible to cover ground at quite some lick. A brief downpour allowed for some additional research. With the four-wheel drive system happy to send a big gob of torque to the back axle. You won't be out drifting a 330e, but you will feel far more engaged than you'd think. The punchy powertrain helps here. If you're running on electric, the engine quickly fires and starts pushing you along. while flicking the gearbox into S will start the engine regardless of mode. With both power sources singing, performance is brisk, while in E mode there's enough poke to easily keep pace with traffic up to 87 miles per hour. Region braking can be set to auto, where it uses sat-nav and radar sensors to slow the car down where appropriate. Alternatively, you can use the steering wheel mounted paddles to adjust the region in 3 steps. Overall, this is a quiet, calm car when you're not poking it with a stick, and one that should be an easy companion for company car drivers. What's it like inside? Like a regular A5 Avant or Sportback, just with less boot space and some hybrid-specific displays and buttons. All get the latest generation of Audi's virtual cockpit digital dials that are sharper and more configurable than ever. And a large touchscreen infotainment system angled towards the driver. A third smaller display is available for the passenger, although I was disappointed to find I couldn't operate Android Auto through it. Hopes of playing DJ turned into just having my own skip button. Although I'm sure there's a Spotify app available to download, the third screen was certainly useful for confirming directions for the driver. Though, space up front is good, with the rear being typical for the class. 6-footers will have enough room without being able to lounge, and it's worth pointing out the Avant has a bit more headroom than the Sportback. Perhaps the biggest disappointments are regarding the quality and usability. It just doesn't feel as plush as the old A4, and replacing physical buttons with touch-sensitive pads and infotainment menus will no doubt be seen as a mid-20s misstep in years to come. Before you buy, base Technic trim still gets niceties such as 4-zone climate control, adaptive cruise control, 18-inch alloys, LED head and rear lights, 4-way adjustable lumbar support and cloth seats. Sport is mainly appearance, adding a few silver exterior highlights, fancier lights front and rear plus main beam assist. Ever-popular S-Line gives you sports suspension that's lowered by 20 mm. 19-inch wheels, privacy glass, a squared-off 3-spoke steering wheel, a plusher interior, leather seats with an embossed S-Line logo, ambient lighting, and of course more aggressive exterior styling. Let's face it, it's the one you'll want, assuming the ride is livable in the UK. Top Spec Edition 1 is nearly £10,000 more than base Technic but has loads of kit. The wheels are up to 20 inches and there's a black styling pack. Passenger's touchscreen, top view camera, adaptive LED headlights, and part microfiber seats with electric adjustment up front. Verdict. First impressions suggest the Audi A5 e-hybrid is a worthy adversary to the BMW 330e if you don't mind losing out on a bit of boot space. It smoothly shifts between electric and petrol power while providing impressive performance and a satisfying drive. Let's hope the non-adaptive suspension, especially the lower, stiffer setup that comes on S-Line in Edition 1 that UK cars will get, plays nicely with our crumbling road network. If all is well there, it'll be an ideal company car candidate.